Today we're going to look at Magnolia laevifolia. And I'm holding a little branch here with some flowers which open quite nicely. And this magnolia formerly would have been known as Michelia crassipes or Michelia yunnanensis. But during the reclassification of all magnolias, Michelias have become magnolias, and this now has a new name, which is Magnolia laevifolia. This was planted in about 1990, and as I suppose about 18 feet tall. The tree is quite mature. Normally it would be fully leaved, but after the hurricane we had on the 8th of January, many of our Michelias, now magnolias, have lost a lot of their leaves. But the point of today's little video, and we'll stand back and look at this tree again from further away, is that breeding of Michelias and breeding of Magnolia laevifolia in particular has produced some outstanding new hybrids which are a great deal better than the pure species itself. This is Magnolia laevifolia, Gail's favourite, and I was recently at Logan Botanic Gardens, and they said to me they thought this was the best form of Magnolia laevifolia that has so far been produced. I'm going to beg to differ, but you can see for yourself and make your own mind up. The flowers don't open out quite fully, and they're a nice sort of creamy white colour, probably more white than cream, very floriferous. And this little plant was only put in 1921, so it's made a fair headway, and is certainly a great deal better than Magnolia laevifolia itself. This is Magnolia laevifolia Kunming, a larger flower and very much yellower than anything we've seen so far. Obviously the place of origin is Kunming in China, and this appears to be a much more vigorous and tall growing small tree or large shrub. The scent is absolutely gorgeous, and you're looking at it here with a background of Magnolia ricci and a lovely contrast between the yellow and the purple. So this is a cross between Magnolia laevifolia and Magnolia doltsopa, and this is one of the 4 different fairy crosses from New Zealand. This one is Fairy Cream, which also is beautifully scented and just about going over now. The thing with the 4 fairies is that they don't all flower at once, and Fairy White is already over and finished, and Fairy Cream is still holding in there, possibly a little bit past its best, but still quite capable of showing up in the garden. And this clearly is going to be a rather bigger tree. Doltsopa grows far bigger than laevifolia, and when we first saw these imports from New Zealand, we weren't sure how big they were going to grow, but thankfully we've given them enough room to make a large tree. Well, they're already a large tree, but they're going to get much bigger than this. This is another of the fairy series. This is Fairy Lime, which again is just about going over, but you see the pink at the tip of the petals and the lime green colour in the side of the flower. Again, as you can see, this small tree has been defoliated by the hurricane, but is already putting on its new growth, and you see rather more pink in the bud, which it loses as the flower comes out. So you've only seen 2 of the 4 in the fairy series, but you can see in the shape of the flower here very clearly how laevifolia is one of the parents. So this is Magnolia laevifolia White Caviar, and as you can see, this is a huge improvement on laevifolia itself, and we've got these wonderful centres to the flowers with lots of pink in. Even the buds have a sort of purplish pink tip to them, and then the both the anthers and some little petaloids at the centre of the flower are also pink. And as they open out further, the pink fades a bit, but the flowers do open out absolutely flat, so you can really see the centres of the flowers. And look how much bud there is here, and look at the characteristic orangey brown indumentum on the buds, which is another feature of Magnolia laevifolia and quite pronounced in this particular variety. Now, I would argue that White Caviar is certainly better than Gail's favourite, although Gail's favourite is very nice indeed. So if you thought White Caviar was good, then this is even better. This is Magnolia laevifolia Summer Snowflake, another New Zealand hybrid. This was planted about 12 years ago. The buds are greenish and creamy, but the flowers open out absolutely flat, and they're at least double, if not treble, the size of the straightforward species laevifolia that we saw at the start of this little video. And this small tree is absolutely plastered in flower as we speak. You can hardly see a leaf for the number of flowers. They're starting to drop, and the scent is probably not as strong as it was a week ago. But what a show, and what a contrast to the colour of Summer Snowflake and the rhododendron species, Rhododendron niveum, growing directly behind it. That would certainly get my vote as the best form of Magnolia laevifolia that we've seen so far. But there is just one more. And this is the last one, which was actually Belgian bred, I think. This is Magnolia laevifolia Sophie van Vyve, Vyve. And unfortunately, it's finished flowering, but the flowers are good. And I'll have to ask Carl to add a static picture to the end of this video to show you what Sophie van Vyve looks like. Anyway, quite a contrast in different flower forms in Magnolia laevifolia. One of the great things for smaller gardens to grow for the future. All new, haven't been in this country more than 30 or 40 years at the most, and the hybrids considerably less. Wonderful new plants with wonderful scent.